The others. I wasn't gifted with my sister Lisa's ability or Larry's talent. For all my 16 years of life, I have been cynical of these powers. I did not hate them or love them any less, but I simply had a harder time believing them compared to how my parents were ready to believe them. As a high schooler, most of my problems were between me wanting a girlfriend and trying to figure out why my track team's coach, Mr. Adam, as an ass that won't quit. Of course, my problems seemed rather small compared to my other younger sibling, and I was constantly forced to push my problems away. Lisa and Larry were both 5 years old, and my Nana always mentioned that maybe they can see the others because they are still pure. She also believed our family were always gifted with the eye, but I've been a 5 year old before, and I have never seen the others. What I have seen and enjoyed is the intention that you get from adults when you act out or draw a nice picture of a bird. I knew that these two were doing this. They were acting out in order to gain a bit of attention. It was just a bit more complicated. Rather than throwing an elaborate tantrum, they just told elaborate lies on how they can see the dead. Quite smart, really, which is why I cannot be mad at them. But one night, things got out of hand. I played along for a couple of times, but it got really annoying after a while. The night started as how any of my nights would usually. I brushed my teeth and I washed my face, put on a pair of ripped jeans and a shirt that has the band print on it. It was Adam's favorite band, and I couldn't wait for him to tear it open tonight. I suddenly heard a squeaky scream from the room next door as my left leg was already out of the window. It sounded like Lisa calling for Dad. Sighing, I got back in and wore my nightrobe. I opened the door to the room next to me to see a frightened Lisa and a surprised Larry. You see, Larry couldn't see the others, he only draws them. I'm not sure how that even works. I went to Lisa and sat next to her. What's wrong? I entertained her with the attention. The tall man, she's here, she answered with a frightened expression glooming over her face. I looked over to Larry. Why are you awake then? I asked him, expecting a similar answer. She woke me up, he answered, rubbing his eyes. Okay, Lisa, we've gone through this before. If it's a man, we use he. I started with my grammar lesson. Aren't you listening to me? The scary man, he's here, she continued as she slowly sunk into her blanket. I want daddy. Look, Lisa, we have gone through this before. Mom is really tired, and Dad. I was interrupted with a pair of footsteps rushing into the room. It was my dad, frantically running into the room, asking what's wrong. Daddy, the man, he's here, Lisa said, getting out of the bed and running to hug him. My dad carried her back into the bed and tucked her in as I stood beside her bed looking at him, trying to consolidate my sister. Don't worry, baby girl. I know he's scary, but he's just a part of your imagination. You'll be fine, he said, kissing her forehead. Larry had already tucked himself in the blanket, waiting for my dad to kiss his forehead. He patted me on my back. Thanks, boy. I think they just had a bad dream, he said as he closed their room door, and we both walked out. I nodded in silence. Now go to bed. he said, smiling. I went straight to my parents' room and slept in the couch in their room all the way till morning. My mom woke up surprised to see me squeezing my 5'8" body on the couch. We went to the kitchen and she made me pancakes. It was a form of bribery, I think, so I would start talking. I like Dad's pancakes better. He always tries to make them into some kind of odd shape, and we had to guess what it is. I looked at the pancakes my mom placed in front of me. My mom sat next to me and asked, "Why were you sleeping in that uncomfortable couch?" I just didn't know how to tell her that I saw my dad, who died in a car crash a month ago, telling my sister that there's no such thing as ghosts.